agencies here. Maybe you can walk us through the protocol and who has jurisdiction and what exactly is happening on the ground as we watch parents show up, we watch different agencies head in and around the building. What can you tell us about exactly the protocol of what's happening?
Well, typically in an active shooter situation, local law enforcement are first on the scene. Normally there's a call to them with a 911 call. They come on the scene and they will move quickly to try to interdict the shooter if possible. It really depends on the situation, or whether the shooter is continuing to shoot, whether they're holed up somewhere, whether they know where they are.
I hate to cut you off and jump in here, but we're looking at pictures and it looked like an armored vehicle as well as emergency vehicles going in. I can add that to the conversation as you talk about what's happening.
Yeah, certainly. And so just depending on the threat, and we, from the videos and from what we know, we don't know enough about the threat to really opine on it. That would suggest whether there is additional layering, whether, how fast SWAT can get there to move in, what is the risk to
cannot be completed
civilians and innocents.
Please consult your directory and call again,
from an active shooter,
or
and how
ask your
fast
operator
law
for
enforcement can
assistance.
respond
This is
and
a
move in
recording.
and take that shooter down, because that is the number one goal.
Eric, if you can hold on for a second. You're still with us. We can still hear you. We're just having some technical difficulties as we try to clean up our audio line so we can hear what you're saying. We're talking about the armored vehicle. We kind of lost you a little bit there. Maybe you could go back and you talk about how different agencies have different protocols. Eric, are you still there with us? Please go on.
Yep, I'm still here. Local law enforcement will usually be first on the scene. They might ask for assistance. A SWAT team will normally come in order to try to neutralize the shooter. Obviously, the number one concern for law enforcement and any of the agencies who might be on the scene, and I can't tell you who is there or why, because we just don't know enough, is to protect lives and to safeguard those who could be innocents caught in the crossfire of an active shooter.
Eric, this is Marielle Liu here. I did want to read to you this statement coming in from Kash Patel via FBI Detroit. It says, FBI personnel are on the scene with partners in Michigan and responding to the apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation out of a Temple Israel synagogue in West Bloomfield Township. Earlier today, while we were watching this unfold, I did mention because of the different elements between fire in the building, word of a car ramming into the building, and then an active shooter.
A crazy situation going on, happening live right now. An active shooter at a Michigan synagogue, on top of the fact that apparently a vehicle rammed into it as well. Like I said yesterday, or was it the day before? I don't know now. Everything is blurring together. Every day something is happening now. Every single day something is happening.
Is being treated as an act of terrorism, especially if the FBI are immediately involved. It certainly seems to have a lot of the hallmarks. The vehicle rammed into the building provides a point of entry, and then you have an active shooter. I can't tell you, and I'm not sure if the reporting has suggested that shots are still being fired or if the shooter has been neutralized. But the fact that the FBI was on this is a good thing. That means that they're giving all the support to local law enforcement that they would require in order to handle this as quickly and as safely as possible.
Eric, the fact that we've gotten confirmation from the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, the fact that there are this many law enforcement officers on scene, the fact that the FBI is involved at all, in your professional opinion, would you say that this is not a coincidence that the largest Reform synagogue in North America, in one of the greatest Jewish population cities in the state of Michigan, would you, I don't want to make a connection, but would you say that that's not a coincidence?
I don't believe in coincidences. If you look at what's happening in the world, we know from different reports from the FBI and other intel agencies that Iranian extremists are active in the U.S. Now, this is everything from potential threats to citizens to cyber attacks. And there have been, a number of different statements from the FBI and others to take caution and make preparations. There has been a rise in violent extremism here in the U.S. for some years. And often what these either lone wolf individuals who are activated themselves or by extremist cells. All they need is a triggering event, and the war or the military action in Iran is certainly one of those triggering events that could cause individuals who are sympathetic or active extremist cells to start to take action. And we know that Iran wants to hurt us, and there are only really two ways they can do it. These sort of things here in the U.S. And cyber attacks, which they're very capable of doing as well.
Eric, I want to hang on that point. You said something that a lot of people are feeling and perhaps doesn't get enough conversation where there needs to be. You talked about the rise in violence here in the U.S. From your perspective, can you go deeper and just explain how has that change affected your line of work? What do you see? I mean, it's not just fear of Iran and what's happening. There's been a rise in white supremacy as well here in the U.S. So when it comes to counterterrorism, there are so many different elements now, it seems, you have to look at. It's not necessarily just attacks from other countries. It's right.
Why, just stop making assumptions. You're live on air. Just the mainstream media trying to rile shit up with literally no information on what's happened. Unbelievable, dude. This is Fox News.
Are operating as
absolute
terrorist
trash
cells here in the United States. It's actually homegrown terrorists that are a bigger concern. People who can be radicalized online. And the advent of the internet and making a big world very small allows people who may never have had those proclivities to find people who will help them radicalize in that process, whether they have some mental instability or they just have completely subscribed to an anti-American ideology. They might be radicalized. And look, it's easy to get your hands on a gun, and there are many examples of how to do the active shooting. In fact, you can find them online in different groups and look at what has happened in the past. We have seen this sort of attack before, where an individual rammed, I believe, his truck into a church and then started shooting and tried to set the church on fire. So there are examples that people who become radicalized and become lone wolf shooters or terrorists can use in order to carry out their attacks. But of course here, we should say, we don't know whether this is one individual, multiple individuals, or what at this point.
We're thankful to report right now, it does seem as though there are no injuries to report, but I think that you have brought just such great perspective on how, I don't want to say how easy it is for homegrown terrorism, but what do you attribute this rise to be? What is the cause of this?
Well, part of it is the internet and social media. It's very easy now to find people who think like you, who have the same problems that you do. It's easy to.
This is wild. Why don't we blame it on the fact that maybe the guy was just crazy? Whoever's doing it is just crazy. How about that? They're already trying to build a narrative here. It's insane. They don't have any details other than what has initially happened, and they're already trying to put things together here to frame this as something. We don't even know who the person is. We don't know what's happened beyond the headline title. And here they are speculating and building a narrative. They don't even have any fact to what they're saying. It's kind of crazy, to be honest with you. And that is mainstream media. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people were watching that feed.
So right now, Israel's kind of on high alert again as Iran is firing cluster munitions, not only from Iran, but they're also firing it from Lebanon, where Hezbollah is located. So it's a weapon difficult to intercept. So deadly, they're widely banned and may violate the laws of war. Not that Iran cares about that. I'll give you an idea fundamentally of what they are. Comes over like a ballistic missile, right? Try to block it. If you do, in fact, intercept it, it doesn't mean the rocket stopped. It means some of the bomblets that are inside can go to the ground, and they can be just as dangerous. And they all don't detonate at the same time. As you see, the doors open on this rocket. It's happened about 11 times so far. And then out come all the bomblets. and they'll spread out wide and far. Random targets, really, I guess you're saying they're targeting civilians. You're not looking at military sites. You're looking to hurt as many people as possible. 11 have been killed by this weapon, and that shows how, I think, desperate they are. They're in a situation where they're trying to hold on to their country that's been under severe attack from the two most lethal air forces and armies in the world, Israel and the U.S. Let's bring a retired battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gaub. Colonel, good to see you. First off, on these cluster munitions, does it surprise you Iran and Hezbollah has gone to this?
Right, no, not at all. I mean, I guess if you're looking for the difference between America and Israel and Iran, this cluster munition is exactly the difference between us. We go to great pains and great lengths to ensure that we don't cause civilian casualties and damage to infrastructure that isn't necessary to our objectives. In Iran is, they don't consider civilian casualties to be an issue. They're going to go ahead and bomb whoever they have to and take in all the non-combatants and kill as many as they possibly can. So that's the difference between them and us. Not surprised at all that they're using these now. What do your sources say is the success we're having so far in hitting the missile sites, the rocket sites, the drone sites, and now targeting commanders in the IRGC? Yeah, Brian, that's key is just the numbers, the sheer numbers of what's happening right now with regards to missiles and drone launches and everything is down to about 5% it was at the beginning, and that happened very rapidly. Now, you're still going to see these happen, of course. It's not perfect yet. We haven't covered the entire nation. But when you just look at how much Iran is launching now versus what they launched at, in the initial days of this entire attack by us, those numbers have gone way down, and that allows us to operate in the skies over Iran almost with impunity, hitting targets as we want to now.
Look at that footage, man. Video after video coming out. Right now we have Melissa Lantzman standing in the House of Commons.
Barriers of growth. That's how we get ahead in trade. We intend to support expanding markets for Canadian products. We always have and we always will. But we'll also scrutinize the government's failure to secure real wins and real results for Canadians, and that's what this debate is about. We don't really quite understand why we're signing on to something that was worse off, why they let something languish to the point where our pork producers, our beef producers, 100,000...
Anyway, we will get more of that when question period comes. Let's see if we can head back to the Fox News live stream that was showing the active shooter situation. Hold on, let me try and pull that back up. Got it right here.
Assistant Chief, car crash into the building. This information, by the way, coming from Temple's Communications. Car crash into the building. Car crash into the building. Police shot driver. It's unclear the driver's condition right now. Car caught on fire, which is why the fire trucks are there. All kids have been evacuated and are at Shenandoah.
Okay, he's been shot. Is he in custody?
That information we don't have yet, right?
Exactly. We don't have that yet. Was there only one suspect? This is very similar to what happened in Grand Blanc. Didn't someone drive to the front door? Yep, of a church. So is it a copycat? Is it someone who has mental issues? Again, and you can have all the security you want in the world, but if I want to get through, and I don't care about my life, I'm getting through. I don't know if there's cement bollards in front of the synagogue or not. I do know that there's kids there, little kids there. And if you're going to make a statement, unfortunately, nothing's worse than, we've seen the bombing in Iran where 170 kids died.
Yes.
This could be retaliation for that. You don't know what's going through people's minds, and Steve, the parents are terrified. Go ahead.
On that note, and this might put some parents' minds at ease a little bit, but we can confirm that the kids and the teachers are safe. There was a message sent to the community members confirming that all of the kids and the teachers that were in the early childhood center are safe and accounted for.
And that's good news from the physical aspect. But what's this going to do to these kids psychologically, mentally? I mean, these kids are little. It's ridiculous that we have to have these drills for these little kids, to run and hide, run and hide. And the parents are traumatized. You can tell me till the cows come home, hey, your daughter's fine, your son's fine. I'm a parent, and I'm concerned about my kids. I gotta get to my kid. And unfortunately, we can't let any parents in because we don't. What I'm understanding is he or she's not in custody yet. So you've got the high school kids at West Bloomfield. They're in lockdown. Some of them might think, what's the big deal? But these other kids are all being traumatized, as other teachers, as other parents, and actually, as is law enforcement, because they don't know what they're going to walk into.
I want to talk to you more about that because I've been with you on many scenes. You've done so much in your career, certainly. So you've seen it all, it seems. And there's got to be so many different like how do you compartmentalize is my question, because you have parents who don't care what anyone has to say. I'm going to get my children. I'm going to make sure that my children are safe, right? But then you still have this protocol that you have to follow. You have to make sure the scene is cleared. You have to make sure that there's no danger in any other parts of the building. So how are you able to navigate all of these different things that are coming at you once as an officer on a scene like this?
It's hard. You have unified command, and you have people stationed on the outside going. And I remember years ago, I had 2 little kids who were basically assassinated at a dope house. And and I was there, and I was in charge, middle of the night, and people showed up and had to see these little kids. I said, "You can't go in." And I was actually caught on camera fighting with the grandfather. I said, "You can't go in there because it's not secure yet." Yeah. It's hard. I get what they're going through. I do. I do, but we have to make sure there's no other injuries. We have to make sure you're safe. These kids are traumatized, and they're going to have people out there, psychologists, whatever, talk to them. But the parents need to know that I know they're physically safe, but I got to get to my kid. Your heart's beating, you're crying. Every emotion you can imagine as a parent is going through you right now because what if it didn't go this way?
Steve, does it tell you anything that we have gotten reports that the kids and the teachers are safe, but we have not heard reports that the suspect is has been apprehended? So, in fact, we're hearing quite the opposite, that some of our sources are telling us that the suspect is still at large.
Right.
I mean, what happens next? Now what? We're not seeing really any of these police cars leave the scene. Everyone's still there. What do you do next?
Now, again, unified command. You have every agency out there, local, state, county. You're going to deploy them and probably do a grid search. First, you try to secure the building, and it's a huge building and a huge campus. So you got to do a grid search and make sure everyone knows where they're going, who they're reporting to, so you're not stepping on somebody else or going over someone's tracks. And it's a big campus, so now you're going out to the campus, and you're going to have to go through everyone's backyard, because there's a lot of houses around there, and do a complete grid search and look for any evidence, other weapons, or discarded clothing, anything that might lead you in a direction that this individual may be. And that's why they want everyone, they close the schools, right? They're in lockdown, telling everyone to shelter in place. And they may think it's no big deal. It is a big deal because there's shooters out. And we don't know how bad this individual was wounded. They could blend into the community, just regular clothes, just walking down the street. So it's a massive undertaking right now. Massive.
What does it mean for how quickly the response was? The fact that if our information is correct, again, as everything is happening so quickly and coming into the newsroom, the fact that the car rams into the building, if police were able to perhaps shoot the suspect, whether he's at large or not, as we still wait to get those details in, it still seems to be a very quick response, especially for this to be such a large response from so many different agencies. How does that something so coordinated come together on your side so quickly?
You work on this all the time. In Detroit, we had our own Homeland Security, incident response, and you get your hospitals ready just in case, fire, all your agencies involved, and you constantly communicate. West Bloomfield isn't that big. It's surrounded by a lot of other communities. Everyone's on high alert to the synagogues and the Jewish schools. And so we're ready. So if something happens, we're going to go. So other agencies can be there in a heartbeat. Actually, at that shooting in Where was it? The other church, they shot the guy in the truck. Canton was the first one on the scene, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or Westland. They have it in Canton. Westland's the first, because they were closest. So you've got a lot of communities here responding. You also have your SWAT teams, your intelligence. Right now, you can bet intelligence is going crazy trying to track this truck or car, whatever it is, on the cameras. So it's integrated, and the response is what you hope for.
Yes.
And there's no casualties. So I'm very impressed. Very,
All right, Steve.
very impressed.
I hate to jump in here. We appreciate your time, but we're getting so much more information we need to get to. Steve Dolan, thank you very much, former Assistant Chief of Detroit Police Department. We appreciate your time every time and your expertise. Thanks so much, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck today. Bye.
All right, real quickly, we do want to reiterate, right after we got the information around 12:30 today at the synagogue, Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, there was a active shooter. There is an active situation is what it's being called, an active shooter. All kids that were in preschool and teacher have been evacuated. If you're a family member that is watching, they were evacuated to Shenandoah. Now, we can confirm there was a car that crashed into the building. That car... Crazy
stuff, as I said, every single day now. Do a bit of a rewind here.
But this is information.
Or I guess we won't be doing a bit of a rewind. Let's see what's going on here. Statements by members should be starting soon. And then we'll get into question period.
We're all living through this together, so we're getting the information as it comes along. But we do want to go live to Camille and Miri.
One other important thing, and Camille can help us with this, but we're being told as of right now the suspect is still at large.
Yeah. Camille.
Yeah, so the Associated Press is reporting right now that the security officers said security engaged in gunfire and suspect is still at large after attack on Michigan synagogue. No deaths reported. Right now you're looking at live pictures of the vast amount of emergency personnel that is here. They are still coming from everywhere as far as Ferndale. We've seen everybody coming with lights and sirens. Still a very active situation, as we do know, thank God, that there have been no fatalities. But again, if indeed he is still on the loose, I mean, they've got every single police officer, every single law enforcement officer in the area looking for this person. He can run, but he can't hide. We've heard that expression many times, but we know when everyone is looking for you, that eventually someone is going to find you. And if you know who this person is and you know where he is, of course, do the right thing and call 911 immediately. He is to be considered armed and dangerous. And again, the number one priority right now is to find him and get him into custody. So again, looking at live pictures of this huge situation, this is as close as we can get. We're at the media staging area. This is Drake and Walnut. We're much closer than we were during our first time with you. But this is where all the media is, and I think this is where we're going to be getting briefings from the sheriff, from the FBI, from anybody who may be associated with this case. Again, all schools on lockdown, the neighborhoods on lockdown, everyone considered to be needing to shelter in place while this person is still on the run. That is what's going on here. Still, like I said, everything just unfolding as we're getting it. We're giving it to you. But this is a situation. We have not seen this much law enforcement since the Oxford shooting. But thankfully, we are, again, hearing that there are no fatalities.
That is, yeah, that's a pretty big presence right there. We got this video here from the New York Post. Israel strikes a building in Lebanon.
ما صعبة صعب اللي حدنا ايه صعب اللي حدنا صعب اللي حدنا صعب راح غير شباب هذه الليل
So I figured I'd just show that because I am covering that situation as well.
in many large metro areas is right here in Metro Detroit, and namely in West Bloomfield. And so whoever this person was who was trying to do what this person was trying to do clearly understood that he was truly at the epicenter of the culture and the religious center of this community. And so many of us, whether you're Hindu, Christian, Muslim, it doesn't matter. We all have Jewish brothers and sisters and friends, and all of our hearts are heavy as we watch, of course, that community grapple with violence against one of the most special places that they have that they call home. And so, yes, we continue our team coverage. We thank the handoff from the team at Good Day Detroit as we continue our coverage throughout the afternoon. Now, listen, I've been talking to several people in the religious community in the last few days. Let's go to some pictures live right now, what you're seeing. These images right now, as you know, and I think as, you know, Derek astutely put, you know, they remind you of something else that we've seen before. And what we've seen before, other active shooter situations. And again, if you look at the number of people just driving in, I just got in about 5 minutes ago, and as I was driving in, you actually noticed rushing down the highway on I-75, heading towards West Bloomfield right now, armored vehicles, FBI, sheriff's departments. I actually passed by schools that are Christian schools that had police in the front of those schools. The one thing you got to give this metro area is the fact that when something happens, as we saw happen in Grand Blanc, Michigan, with that terrible shooting that happened there, incidentally also involving a car that had also rammed into a building, you understand that how quickly all of the law enforcement personnel from this area, from Southeast Michigan and beyond, rush without asking questions to get to the scene. Right now, the scene out in West Bloomfield, you'll see the decals on the cars that come from Kego Harbor, from West Bloomfield, from Troy, and yes, the Sheriff's Department as well. We should tell you, our Jessica Dupnack, our Camila Mary, and our team of reporters and producers are working right now very diligently to get information to you. Now, here's the thing with breaking news that I think is so critically important, and I think we often miss it, is this. We have to make sure that we're reporting what we know to be true. And in a situation and in a world where obviously we have so much social media, we see what you see. We see the messages saying, I heard this was the case, I heard that was the case, I understand the shooter may have been killed, perhaps the shooter is not. Instead of reporting hearsay, what's going to be different than what you see on your phone, what you see here on this stream, here on this television station, and here on the monitor is clearly the fact that we have verified facts and information. And so that's such an important piece of this puzzle that we're putting together. If you're just joining us right now, we're looking at an active shooter situation at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, one of the largest temples of its kind, not just here in Michigan, but in the country. And joining us now is a rabbi who is on the phone with us right now, Rabbi Shalom, and we thank you so much for joining us here today on our broadcast, just to kind of unpack what it is that you're hearing, what you're seeing. Rabbi Shalom Cantor, and you're with a nearby synagogue. Obviously, this Jewish community, all of us, including those who aren't Jewish, are thinking about the entire Jewish community here today. Tell us what you're hearing in terms of fact from authorities, from others out there right now.
I only know what you all have said. I don't have any more information. At this point, I can tell you that the lockdown of my son's high school, which is the Frankel Jewish Academy housed at the Jewish Community Center, the lockdown has been lifted, but the lockout has not, meaning that nobody's in, nobody's out. My son just texted a little while ago and said that FBI agents are in the building, protecting, making sure that everybody's safe. In terms of facts, I don't want to, as you just stated very clearly, I don't want to spread rumors. I don't want to say anything that...
Sure. Rabbi, I think we may have lost you there for a moment, but I think your message stands very clear. I think the rabbi is simply saying, look, he also...
He didn't want to spread rumors or anything, and he disappeared. Holy shit. All right. Let's move on to, we got a bit longer for statements by members, so we could probably run this again.
Were nearby or in there have been removed, and that they're going to be okay as well. They're waiting for their parents to pick them up at another location. But in the meantime, the question that does remain at this hour is, who was this person, and where are they now? There are some media outlets reporting that this person has been shot. We are not going to report that until we get express confirmation from sheriff's deputies and from investigators on the scene. So we're waiting and watching.
It's funny that he claims that because this Fox News live stream claims that the shooter was still at large, and then the one over here on their actual network channel claims that he's believed to be dead. So they're not even on the same page when they're reporting this exact same issue. And it's the same company. It's crazy.
For that. And Marielle Lou is
Count on us here at Fox 2 to do that every time. We do still have the rabbi.
He's back on the phone, Rabbi. Rabbi Shalom Cantor, we lost you there for a moment. Glad you're with us. You were saying, talking
right there.
You to provide the necessary fortifications, because at this point in time we're at war, and
like that, they're not even on the same page.
Reflecting with us a little bit about how you don't want to spend personally.
So my son is at which is housed at the Jewish Community Center. They've been on lockdown until about 20 minutes ago, when the lockdown was lifted, but they still have a lockout, meaning that nobody's in or nobody's out of the building. The FBI has a presence there, as do other police officer organizations, to protect and secure the building. I do know that the children have been evacuated, as you've already reported, but beyond that, I don't have any specific information. I talked to, let me say, I did talk to two grandparents, two of my congregants who have children grandchildren who attend the preschool, and both have said.
All right, let's head over to the House of Commons. That's a crazy situation going on in Michigan, nonetheless.
So don't worry. Yeah, these guys are the muscle, right? So you got to be nice today. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure you saw the devastating numbers that have come out from the January Statistics Canada on auto. So we've seen a 32.5% decline in auto light-duty vehicles and automobiles to the United States, and a 21% decline in parts. Conservatives have been saying to this government for almost a year now that the Canadian auto industry is in deep trouble with the tariffs that have been put on autos. In 1 year alone, the current tariffs have caused Canadian auto producers to pay $2.5 billion in tariffs. If they were to get that down to 5%, which they haven't been able to, that would be $800 million in tariffs. These are tariffs that our auto manufacturers actually cannot afford to continue to pay. And we have stressed how important it is for Mark Carney and the Liberals to get a deal on this. In fact, the Prime Minister said he would have this issue resolved Canada Day of 2025. We're now approaching Canada Day of 2026, and we're having devastating consequences. We've lost almost 10,000 jobs in the auto sector direct, in auto assembly. For every job in auto assembly, there are 7 to 8 jobs in the parts and the auto ecosystem. So this is having devastating impacts, and now we're seeing that in the actual exports that we have to the United States. The Liberal government says they're going to find other markets for autos. I think we have to be really clear and open-minded on this. We export 1 million vehicles a year to the United States. We do not have any other export markets that come even remotely close to that number. We export approximately 10 to 20,000 vehicles per year to Europe. Similar numbers in other parts of the world. The only market that will sustain the Canadian auto industry is the American market, and the government is really failing, and we're seeing the results of that. And it's devastating for every single auto sector worker who now has to try and find a way to pay their mortgage, put food on the table when they don't have a job in the middle of a cost of living crisis. And I've got 2 MPs here from Brampton and Windsor, where auto is so important, and they know the consequences of this that's happening in their communities. We need the government to actually step up and do what they said they were going to do, which is get tariff-free access for the Canadian auto sector into the United States. Thank you very much.
Do you hope the leader's trip to the U.S. is going to help on that front? Is that one of his goals?
Well, look, I think the leader is going to the United States, and he's actually going to be in Windsor on Sunday, and he's got a media availability on Sunday. So I think you might want to be there to hear what he has to say.
Well, the Liberals haven't done anything when it comes to the U.S. They've kind of just let that decay rapidly. And majority thing, yeah, they're probably going to get a majority. You just had one NDP MP cross. They're going to have 2 by-elections in very liberal ridings, which gives them the majority. And if they get Terrebonne, that'll give them another seat, which will push them over the majority. At this point, there needs to be like a freak situation, a very rare situation where those liberal ridings don't go liberal, but I don't think that's going to happen. So that's really the only chance we got. And even if one of those liberal ridings go conservative or NDP or whatever, and they're shy of the majority by 1 seat, the NDP is cooked. You have the one crossing, you had one leaving to go to provincial Quebec politics, and now there's like 4 or 5 of them left. So it's only a matter of time, really, before the entire NDP disbands, disappears, or just crosses to the Liberals. I don't know if that will happen. It might not. It may. It really feels like it at this point because the NDP don't have any power, period. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Pierre's visiting Washington or whatever to give a speech. I guess we'll see what happens with that. I'll probably make a video on the main channel for it. We'll see what happens.
Through their commitment, their leadership, and their dedication, they strengthen our communities and inspire all of us continue to make concrete steps forward.
So the importance of recognizing their achievements and continuing our efforts to promote gender equality and equity. On March 8th, we honored the women who built, the women who resisted, the women who innovated, the women who make a difference in their community, and those who, every day in their personal and professional lives, create a more humane, more united, and more courageous world.
Actually, I don't think it was Washington. I think it was it Michigan? It was one of the auto states. One of the states that produces a lot of cars. He was going to go there. I think it might have been Michigan, but I could be wrong.
Disaster, something they can't control, when in reality, it's a policy that they've authored. They aren't just watching prices rise, they're actively driving the spike with a tax and spend agenda that ignores the reality of the Canadian kitchen table. The industrial carbon tax is a prime example. It's not just another number on a ledger, it's an extra 7 cents a litre today, climbing to 17. These taxes and red tape hit our farmers, our truckers, our food processors like a man-made storm. Canadians see the carnage at every stage, from the fuel needed to plant the seed to the final total at the grocery checkout. This affordability crisis was made right here in Ottawa by the members on the other side of this House. Right. They keep pointing south of the border to shift the blame, but they cannot hide the math. Their taxes are making life more expensive. It's time to stop the excuses and put Canadians first. It's time to cut the taxes that fuel inflation. It's time to make decisions that favor our families. And finally, Mr. Speaker, it's time to bring back hope for a better Canada.
The honourable member for Richmond East, Steveston.
Mr. Speaker, the Kidney Foundation of Canada is on the Hill this week. March 12th is World Kidney Day, and the Foundation is launching its National Strategic Framework for Chronic Kidney Disease, Canada's first unified roadmap to move kidney care from reactive and fragmented to proactive, coordinated, and resilient. As someone born with a solitary kidney who has undergone dialysis and received a transplant, I know the importance of early detection, timely treatment, and strong medical teams. I'm grateful to all the medical professionals and organizations like Canadian Blood Services that offer hope to patients nationwide. Thanks to the dedicated medical and transplant team at Vancouver General Hospital, I'm here today. I thank the Kidney Foundation for its leadership and commitment to a healthier future.
Oral questions, questions orales. The honourable member for Thornhill.
All right, here we go.
The Minister of Natural Resources made the absurd promised that Canada would, quote, do its part to help stabilize global oil markets. But Canada can't do its part because after a decade of liberal energy policies, we don't have a strategic oil reserve. When allies need energy and markets need stability, Canada has nothing to offer but the minister's promises. Conservatives have proposed a strategic reserve to fuel our allies abroad and give Canada real leverage, especially at times like these. So will the Liberals adopt our plan so that Canada can be stronger at home and more reliable abroad?
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister of Energy and Natural Resources.
Speaker, let me explain to the member opposite the way the IEA works. Net importers have strategic oil reserves. Net exporters do not. That is how it works, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member for Thornhill.
Let me explain something back. Just because you don't have to do something, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't, especially when you lead your allies to believe that you will. We have a name for that. But the Liberals cannot paper over a 10-year record of shutting down the oil and gas sector, leaving our country weaker, more dependent, and unable to step up when it matters. They can say the words, they can sign the MOUs, but we all know that the minister's new project office hasn't approved a single new project. So will the government finally scrap the anti-pipeline law, repeal the emissions cap, lift the tanker ban, approve real projects so we can get Canadians to work and be there for our allies?
The Honourable Minister.
Apparently, Mr. Speaker, they don't agree with the Premier of Alberta that now is the time to build. This new Liberal government signed and will deliver against the promise of the Canada MOU. We will build strong with Indigenous peoples. That's why Canadians elected the new Prime Minister, because the new Prime Minister knows how to work with the premiers, knows how to work with Indigenous peoples to build things. Unfortunately, the leader of the opposition does not. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Louis Saint Laurent. Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Natural Resources Minister promised that Canada was going to do its share to free up oil reserves to stabilize the market. That's a good idea, Mr. Speaker, but the only problem is we don't have a strategic oil reserve. Why? Because for 10 years, these people across the way from me dealt with Canadian oil in a certain way. We, on our side, propose a stockpile for oil reserves and critical minerals. Will the Prime Minister say yes to building wealth and this incredibly important leverage in an uncertain world? Mr. Speaker, with respect to creating an energy superpower, that's what we're doing. The minister just explained that exporting countries generally do not have reserves, but importing countries do. Canada will also be a renewable energy superpower, whether we're talking about selling uranium, supporting renewable energy and technology throughout this country. Canada is an energetic superpower, conventional and renewable, and will remain that way. The honourable member for Louis Saint Laurent at Cowanhack. The Minister of Natural Resources has only been here for a year, but this minister has been here for 10 years. Over those 10 years, him and his colleagues had contempt for Canada Energy, and today all Canadians are paying the price for that. Also, Mr. Speaker, there is a food inflation problem here. Canada is a great country in the G7, but has the worst food inflation, 7.3%. Result, Mr. Speaker, families of Saint-Georges-de-Beauce go grocery shopping, and 50 kilometers away, it costs them less expensive on the other side of the border. Why do Canadians have to pay more for their groceries? Mr. Speaker, my colleague, who has also been here for 10 years, also has a record. He systematically voted against any support that was needed to support Canadians against price increases, voted against dental care, nutrition in schools, the Canada Child Benefit. This member systematically voted against all of this, Mr. Speaker. Not one support for one Canadian that he's approved. When will they start to do what's right?
For Grand Prairie.
Mr. Speaker,
we can't control what's happening abroad, but we can fix things here at home. The majority of Canadians now report that they're worse off today than when this Prime Minister took office. And, Mr. Speaker, they're right. Under his leadership, Canada now has the worst food price inflation and the only shrinking economy in the G7. This Liberal Prime Minister was warned that imposing his industrial carbon tax and adding a fuel standard tax that's now at 7 cents, that he's rising to 17 cents a litre, would drive up prices, but he did it anyway, Mr. Speaker. Canadians can't afford this. When will this Prime Minister remove his inflationary taxes so Canadians can afford to eat?
Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Thanks for taking up Mr. Speaker, well, that leader, the Conservative leader was in Europe trying to reboot his tarnished image, meeting with leaders who wondered why he was even there. Do you know where our Prime Minister was? He was in the Indo-Pacific signing trade deals. Wow. Japan, Australia, India. How about $2.6 billion on uranium from Saskatchewan? Did those Saskatchewan members even comment on that? Premier Scott Moe certainly supported it. On this side of the House, we're going to continue to build our economy. That side is full of rhetoric and obstruction. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Brandon Prairie.
Well, Mr. Speaker, if you believe that answer, I've got some oceanfront property I'll sell you in Alberta. Because, Mr. Speaker, everyone knows that when the government charges higher fuel and carbon taxes on fertilizer, fuel, and equipment for farmers, food processors, and truckers, it drives up the cost of food. And it's going to get worse as long as these Liberals keep on hiking these taxes. Canada now has the highest food price inflation and the worst shrinking economy in the G7. It's gotten worse since this Prime Minister took office. We can't control what's happening abroad, but we can fix things here at home. Why won't these Liberals reverse their taxes so Canadians can afford to eat?
The Honourable Minister of Environment and Climate Change.
Mr. Speaker, I'm standing up for my daily reminder that studies show that the industrial carbon price adds zero to the cost of food. So if they want to speak about taxes, though, I can point out that on this side of the House, what did we do? We cut them. If they want to talk about imaginary taxes, go ahead. But we're going to make sure that we support Canadians with real measures.
The honourable member for Saint-Jean. Mr. Speaker, the Ali al-Salem military base was targeted by Iranian missiles on March 1st. This military complex is home to Camp Canada, an operational base for the Canadian Armed Forces. So on March 1st, Canadian military personnel were targeted by Iran. The government, the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and of course the Prime Minister were aware of this attack against Canadian Armed Forces personnel in Kuwait. Why did the government not inform parliamentarians nor the public about this attack? The Honourable Minister. Mr. Speaker, Canada was not consulted, did not participate, and will not participate in offensive strikes against Iran. All Canadian Armed Forces members in the region are well, safe and sound, and have been located. For reasons of operational security, we cannot provide any further details. But I would like to thank the Canadian Armed Forces for their hard work on a daily basis for our country. Thank you. The honourable member for Saint-Jean. Mr. Speaker, on Monday, March 9th, the government proposed a take-note debate on the conflict in the Middle East in response to requests from the Bloc Québécois and the Conservative Party. It had been 8 days since the Ali al-Salem military base had been attacked by Iranian missiles. 8 days, and they did not see fit to mention this to parliamentarians. It was La Presse, the newspaper, that made this information public. We wouldn't know about it today if it were up to the Liberals. Are there other attacks like this that the government is trying to hide from us, and why should we trust them? The Honourable Minister. Mr. Speaker, as I stated, all Canadian Armed Forces members in the region are safe and sound, and we're located. As we continue to say, Canada reaffirms that international law applies, binds all actors, including the United States and Israel. They must respect international rules. And I, again, want to reissue this thank you to the Canadian Armed Forces for their constant effort on behalf of our country. The honourable member for Saint-Hyacinthe-Bagot-Acton. At the beginning of the conflict, the Prime Minister said he supported the United States and Israel. Since then, he has been revising his position on a daily basis. The lives of Canadian Armed Forces soldiers in Kuwait were threatened by Iranian missile strikes. The Prime Minister knew this. The Minister of Defense knew this. Perhaps the entire cabinet knew this. But the members of Parliament didn't know, nor did the public. Why? Was it because the Camp Canada military base in Kuwait was targeted by missile strikes that the Prime Minister supported the American offensive? The Honourable Minister, I would like to confirm that all Canadian Armed Forces members in the region are safe, that they have all been accounted for. For operational safety reasons, we cannot provide any further detail to that effect. I would like to be clear. Canada was not consulted, did not participate, and has no intention to participate in offensive strikes against Iran. Period.
The honourable member for Lethbridge.
The Liberals blame the world for the fact that families are struggling more than ever to make ends meet. But it's actually this government's policies here at home that are driving up the cost of food. Canada has the highest food inflation rate out of the G7, and a big factor in this is the hidden carbon tax, also known as the clean fuel standard. It's making life more expensive because it's driving up the cost of fuel for trucks and farmers and fishermen. And so when will the Liberals take responsibility for their own actions here at home and take off these taxes that are punitive for Canadians?
The Honourable Minister of the Environment and Climate Change.
Mr. Speaker, it seems like the members opposite from the Conservative Party have a big interest in the clean fuel standards. So let me talk to them and to their constituents about the opportunities that are created by this. Because canola farmers in Alberta will actually see an increase in the value of their product. They will actually see an increase in their farm revenue. We actually see the Imperial Diesel renewable diesel facility that's going to use up or require 50% of the canola that's produced in Alberta. This is an opportunity for farmers in her riding and all of the rest of her caucus members. We stand up for Alberta.
The honourable member for Lethbridge.
Out of touch with the people in Western Canada, and I would dare say all Canadians would like them to believe that there's a benefit to this tax, that there's a benefit to driving up the cost of groceries and forcing seniors have to choose between groceries and their medication, or having families choose between are they going to give their daughter formula or are they going to cut back on the essential amount. These are the types of tough decisions that our Canadians are making. And the minister says that this is an opportunity for them. An opportunity. When will this government listen to Canadians, see Canadians for what they're saying and the challenges that they're facing, and do something about it?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, judging from recent opinion polling, it is not us who is out of touch with the people of Alberta, Mr. Speaker. It is, in fact, this Liberal government that is delivering on the promise of a memorandum of understanding with the province of Alberta. It is this government that is making markets and creating revenues and increasing the incomes of canola farmers across Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Mr. Speaker. The question is for the opposition, when will they get behind this Western Canadian agenda?
The honourable member for Newtecumseh-Gwillimbury.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians watching know this government always has an excuse ready, but they can't keep passing the buck when we have the highest food inflation and the worst economic growth in the G7. Backward Liberal policies imposed domestically, like the industrial carbon tax and the fuel standard tax, are harming our economy and making life more expensive for Canadians. Enough excuses. Will the Liberals scrap these self-inflicted taxes they are forcing on Canadians?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Speaker, enough excuses, enough rhetoric from that side of the House. This is a government that is supporting Canadians right across the country. We have delivered on the groceries benefit, which in my riding is going to help over 30,000 end of my constituents. I expected similar in that member's riding as well, Mr. Speaker. That benefit is going to help deliver close to $1,900 this year for a family of 4. It's the kind of part of our plan that is making an actual difference in the lives of Canadians. So when are these Conservatives going to get on board and back us up?
The honourable member for New Tecumseh, Gwillimbury.
Well, Mr. Speaker, how can Canada stand on its own 2 feet in the world if the Liberals keep cutting our legs out from under us? Amid global instability, the government should be doing everything it can to make life more affordable right here at home. But Liberal taxes are leaving Canadians more exposed to global shocks, conflicts, and decisions by foreign governments. When will the Liberals stop making excuses and scrap these taxes?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Oh, no, sorry. The Honourable L'Honourable.
I know the member is a man of good spirit and good heart. Let me help him with his talking points, Mr. Speaker. Canada has the second fastest growth in the G7, Mr. Speaker. The lowest net to deficit, Mr. Speaker. We have one of the lowest deficit to GDP, Mr. Speaker. He should rejoice about the place of Canada in the world, Mr. Speaker. We have the most educated workforce. We have strong industry. We have critical minerals. We have...
It's been a year and everything is more expensive than it was when you started. And then if you go back 10 years before, you could say the exact same thing. All right, let's go over to what's happening in Michigan. I was about to say Minnesota because that's a hot topic as well, but Michigan.
Is there anybody else involved and the investigative side of what's happened?
So you can confirm that it was security that shot and killed the suspect here?
Well, we can't say what killed him at this point, but security did engage the suspect with gunfire.
Did the suspect have a weapon?
We can't get into a lot of that stuff, but he breached the building, drove down the hall, and he was engaged by security.
So do we know, did he ever fire shots, the suspect?
Preliminarily, we have some information, but nothing that we confirm, so we're not going to go in.
There's a lot of smoke coming out of the building, too. Like, a lot. I've been watching it on the side here, and it's been pouring out the front door. It's been pouring out the vents on the top. I don't know what's going on inside, obviously. They probably won't tell us, but...
Into it. We're, through an abundance of caution, clearing the vehicle for IEDs or any explosives. We've got a significant number of bomb dogs on site, bomb techs on site, and all of that's going to be done to check the boxes. We have deployed resources all across the county, just in case, out of an abundance of caution, that there may be a secondary site, but we don't have any information at this time to believe that. So we want people to take a breath. No one was hurt. We're on top of it. The chief and his team got here fast. Everything that was supposed to happen happened. Security did their job, and then the responders did theirs.
Was it a Michigan vehicle?
Sheriff, what did the call come out as? I believe it came out as an active shooter. Yeah.
Where and when did you actually neutralize the threat? Where was it? Where was he?
The vehicle's in the hallway of the building. It's inside the building.
He was shot right there.
Again, I can't tell you what he died of until we get a little further. We haven't actually gone into the car. It's still being cleared.
So we do know that the security guards shot this
They shot
shooter,
at?
Shot at them, but it's unclear if he was killed by
Because, you know, in situations like this, you never know. If somebody's trapped, sometimes they kill themselves. So the suspect was engaged.
Was it the same?
Is the clearest sentence I can give you.
What is the condition of the security officer?
From information I got, he should be okay. He was knocked unconscious.
Oh, I'm not getting out.
So there's a different security officer who fired the shot?
There were multiple security officers on scene, and the one that was hurt was pulled.
If I had to guess, that's probably a fire, but I don't know. I see a lot of black smoke coming out of there.
From that area.
You got some gray smoke in the front here.
By his team.
Typically, black smoke means things are burning.
How much? Where's the car registered from? What?
We're not going to get into the specifics on the car at this point.
You say what type of car it is, sir? A truck or an SUV?
It was a truck.
Sheriff, this is West Bloomfield scene, the sheriff's scene. I know everybody's here.
Everybody's here, more than likely, based on a couple early pieces of information. The FBI may take the lead. That's yet to be formally determined.
Were there explosives in his vehicle?
That's yet to be cleared.
How much damage to the building from the fire?
That I can't even tell you.
Okay, so they just confirmed it is a fire. This is going to be a crazy situation if it continues. Obviously, the only person hurt here confirmed right now being the security guard and the suspect. Thankfully, nobody else.
You couldn't even see the hall was completely clear. We had to send people in with gas masks to clear that area.
The car actually entered all the way into the building.
All the way in the building.
All the way in. Do we know how fast he was going?
It's hard to say how fast. I mean, he was traveling with purpose down the hall from my look at the video.
This could have been a far worse situation considering the severity of it, him getting into the building, whatever may have been in the vehicle. Talk about just the response, those security guards, and how this could be far worse than what we're...
This is live right now. This is... Yeah, just trust me, this is live.
Right now.
No, absolutely. In fact, what I would tell you is that I am...
For weeks, not just on the last couple of weeks, but...
It might be a few minutes behind.
But in the last couple of weeks...
But this is the official... This is the official Fox. Anyway. Let's see what else we can look at here. We've got that video now. That's not going to give us any new information. What's going on here?
So, just a couple of things from Armchair Military Generals. You're going to love this in the live chat. There's an account called House to Home Plus 511. Stop lying for Trump illegal immoral wars. First things first, there is no such thing as a legal war because there is no such thing as a legal war. You can't be like, well, that war was, yeah, you wanted to kill those guys, yeah, that's illegal. Killing is illegal. You want to kill the other guys, yeah, that's legal. You legally can kill people. But they say, well, no, we're talking about international law. International law is a false concept. Stop trying to make international law a thing. Secondly, I'm not the one lying for Trump's illegal war. Ask the people in the country that is being currently targeted. People in Iran want this. People in Iran have been asking for this for a very long time. If people of the country that is being attacked are fine with it, maybe you should shut the F up and just continue watching. You might learn something from this channel. Now, let's also go to a neighboring city-ish, Esfahan. It's still a couple of hours away from Shiraz, but roughly speaking, they're nearby. Esfahan, the third largest city, airstrikes hitting the IRGC bases twice within minutes. Oop, there we go.
You all have...
By the way, the biggest update here is the fact that the Ayatollahs are no longer in charge of Iran, because the IRGC military have now taken full control of not just the actual conflict, but the day-to-day operation in Iran. But the problem is that the IRGC military, they are a bunch of terrorists who don't know anything about politics or policies, and not that the Ayatollahs and the clerics were...
I don't even know who is running the joint, because according to GB News here, which I would assume is Great Britain News, I could be wrong, but whatever, GB News, the new supreme leader in coma. So, who is running the operation, the regime? I don't know. I don't think really anybody is, and they're probably just going around like a bunch of headless chickens.
Same thing. Sources from inside of the country, this guy is comatose. He's not even awake right now. Let me tell you how. A couple days into this war, Israel carried out an airstrike attempting to take this guy out. Israel has confirmed that. The airstrike failed to blow him up, but what we now know is that it put him in a coma, and he's been comatose for over a week now. What's more, the Iranian supreme leader is not only confirmed to be in a coma, but also he had to have his leg amputated. He's comatose. He's missing a leg, and that's a...
So that was a rumor that was going around for a bit, that he had his leg amputated. Wasn't entirely sure about that one. I don't know if that's legit or not.
Very traumatic surgery. Blood loss, you chop your leg off, you amputate it, emergency. So this guy's in a coma. Very curiously, though, this is where the story starts to get a little bit insane. Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has not appeared publicly or spoken live on television. Instead, he issued a statement, and it was read today by someone else on Iranian state TV. This woman here, she spent several minutes reading a message from the new supreme leader that allegedly he wrote. Who the hell knows who wrote this thing? Nobody has heard from him or seen him. But she read a letter to the public on Iranian state TV. Okay, what did she say? Well, there have previously been unconfirmed speculations that he was wounded or possibly killed by an Israeli-U.S. airstrike. Well, we have that confirmation today. He's in a coma. The statement on his behalf said this: Iran intends to continue pressuring its opponents, including using its closure of the Strait of Hormuz as leverage with which to pressure its opponents. And I quote, Iran will avenge the blood of the martyrs who died in the conflict with U.S. and Israel. This is another statement from his written speech. Maybe it's his or maybe it's not. I don't know. Nobody knows. Quote, we will obtain compensation from the enemy. If it resists, we will seize property of equivalent value. And if that proves impossible, we will destroy the property of same value. So they want reparations. The Iranian regime, now they are confirming, you need to pay us back for all the damage that you have caused. America, Israel, you sunk our fleet, you blew up our bunkers. We have to keep on sending all of these ballistic missiles and drones at you. You need to pay us back for the ballistic missiles we fired at you. You got to pay us back for that. We're putting that on the tab. This is coming out of the Iranian regime, allegedly from the new supreme leader himself. He wants supreme reparations. I have a feeling that's not going to happen. Another quote here from this message. Quote, we are committed to friendship with our neighbors and our target.
We are committed to friendship with our neighbors after we hit the UAE over 1,000 times and we're just hitting everybody else. Yeah, okay, Iran. Sure you are.
To get
I'm sure you are.
This police presence, this barricade, if you will, mobile command units. We're talking multiple mobile command units on scene here. In the last few minutes, however, the posture of everyone, all the law enforcement agents who have body armor and long guns out and drawn has significantly changed after we've realized that the threat, whatever potential threat there was, has been neutralized. But again, I've never seen a police presence quite like the one I'm witnessing right here. I'm about a block and a half from the temple from where I stand right now, and it is here on Walnut Lake. Police cars beyond count. I can't see the end of them as I look at these flashing lights here parked alongside Walnut Lake, and you could tell by the way some of these agents come in cars that aren't marked, the way they're parked up on a curb, just the urgency at which they were kind of making sure they were rushing to the scene and getting here in order to respond to the perceived threat when we were very unaware of what was going on and how many people could be potentially involved. And as we just heard, and I listened to as well, the Sheriff Bouchard giving us an update that there is no more threat in place. We're watching these law enforcement agents from all over. We're talking state police, sheriffs, the county sheriff, local from West Bloomfield here, kind of take a different posture. ATF agents as well, kind of walk it down and and get back to the car. They mentioned they're going to start clearing out the area as best they can, allow the people that were sheltering in place, because these are just neighborhoods here, Greenbrier, and this is all part of where the reunification was going to take place, was just a block and a half down from where we're standing now. We understand that you cannot get, we're going to allow the privacy that's from the law enforcement there for those families to get back to one another after going through that terrible ordeal that they experienced just a few hours ago. And we still see the helicopters up. There's 2 of them, police helicopters circling the scene, making sure that what we know to be true is in fact true, as we kind of just process everything that's happening here in terms of the sheer number of law enforcement agents. Again, unlike anything I've ever seen. I'll send it back to you.
Reporting live for us. Dave, thank you so much. We have Camille.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dave. That was fantastic.
Try to destroy the...
This is a cardboard cutout of the new Ayatollah. Yeah, I can't believe they actually did that.
Easy stuff, guys. He's unconscious, but he's still able to talk to you guys. Brilliant. The problem here is that his statement, which made no sense, and I'm going to read out the summary of it, was posted by his unverified account on X, and the link goes to a website that is broken. You can't actually open the website, which is hilarious, by the way. But we do have the summary of this cardboard Ayatollah and his statement, what he's talking about. Also, in case you're wondering why you might be hearing things in the background, this is Emo. It's my companion AI robot is always here.
Okay, I thought he was going to be talking about something at least half important, but clearly not. All right, I'm probably going to call it here. Before I do, though, I started another channel for the fun of it, going by Ronan Selwick. No, that's not my actual name. I was just too lazy to change the channel's name, so that is what it's going to go by. Just roasting Hollywood actors and other celebrity drama and garbage like that. So if you are interested in that, go on over there. I'll drop the link in the chat. But anyway, that is going to do it for today's live stream. Thank you very much for joining. I may or may not be live again at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It depends. There's not really much going on the live cams to cover, so it's kind of just quiet. Everything else is going on in the Strait of Hormuz, and there's no live cams there for obvious reasons. Anyway, adios, everyone.
Okay, just stop talking. Not. But we have received some leaked text messages, and big shout out to also Iran Watcher. This is the actual original version. These are the members of the IRGC, and